Find your way here.
Find your way here.
Find your way here.
To a community of people guided by the wisdom of a goddess and the spirit of a warrior.
At UNC Greensboro,
we transform lives every day.
Every day. On campus, in our hometown, our home state,
and around the world.
Start with excellence.
Find your passion, your purpose, your inspiration here.
Through research and teaching, scholarship and service.
Competing for championships and seizing our moments.
We welcome every Spartan, just as they are, just as we are.
Just as I am.
I am.
I am.
We start with excellence.
And after graduation,
we excel, we achieve, we make an impact.
Find your wow, your breakthrough, your aha moment, your pride, your story here.
by being true to our core, we have earned the right to say,
We are the best at what we do.
We are.
We are.
We are UNC Greensboro.
A national leader in a thriving city.
Right here in the heart of North Carolina.
Find your way.
Find your way.
Find your way here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to another live stream brought to you by the admissions office here at UNC Greensboro. My name is Trey. I am an admissions counselor here, and I am joined by two other experts in the field of transfer admissions. And today we are talking specifically about your last steps in the transfer process. So let's go ahead and introduce our panel. I'm going to go with the person who's right beside me. So Angie, tell us who you are and what you do here at UNCG.
Hi everyone, my name is Angie Moore. I'm an assistant director with undergraduate admissions. I specialize with adult transfer and military affiliated students. So I am a resource here for you in undergraduate admissions.
And a resource you definitely are. All right, and Andrea, tell us who you are and what you do here.
Thank you, Trey. My name is Andrea Hill. I'm the Associate Director for Transfer Recruitment for the university. I'm an alum of the university as well, so it's my proud honor to be here to welcome these new Spartans and to give you all the advice that we can on these last steps before you arrive on this great campus in August.
Fantastic. Alrighty, everyone. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. Today, we are going to be talking about your last steps for transfer admission. And I do want to let you know that if you have any questions, you can always send us your questions in through our texting line. So that number is at the bottom of your screen. I encourage you to send us those messages, send us your questions, because we have got a panel of experts here and on our texting number that are able to answer your questions. So, Andre, let's go ahead and go right into our presentations. That way we can talk about the final steps that students need to go through whenever they are doing their final steps. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Alrighty, so the first thing that you need to do whenever you are ready to say, yes, I am coming to UNCG, and this is something that you should have already done, but if you are ready, you can go ahead and claim your student accounts. So that is the first step after you say, yes, I am coming. So step number one, say, yes, I am coming. That is something that you should already have done, especially if you are coming in the fall. We need to know that you're going to be with us. And then after that, you're going to need to claim your student accounts. You're going to need to register for orientation. Some of you may need to register for orientation specifically. Some of y'all may not have to, especially our RN to BSN programs, as well as our online programs. The process for orientation and advising is a little bit different, and it's a little bit different for transfer students specifically. You may have noticed this thing that we call ARA, and that stands for Advising and Registration by Appointment. So that is something that you have to set up with your advisor. So if you need any help locating your advisor's contact information, you can look them up in UNC Genie, and we're going to talk about UNC Genie here shortly. And we are also going to, we can also give you their contact information if you get in touch with us here in the office. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide, so that way we can go right on into claiming your accounts. So you may have already heard of Spartan Link. You've definitely heard of Spartan Link if you've applied to UNCG, because that is how you apply to the university. iSpartan is a little bit different. iSpartan is your UNCG email account. So iSpartan is something that you have to activate whenever you say, yes, I am coming. You get a email and a username from UNCG. So that username is usually something like your first initial, your middle initial, and then all or part of your last name. So for my friend Andre, his username is AR Hill. So that is how you can know that you have the right username, because it is different from Spartan Link. So just make sure that you're making sure that you are keeping those two things separate. Your university computer accounts are also going to get you into Canvas. Canvas is our online learning platform, so you may have heard of things like Moodle or Blackboard, or you may even already be using Canvas. So you're going to use your university username and password to get into Canvas. Now, there's also UNC Genie, and that is something entirely different from your username. It is still something that you have to activate. So you need to get your student ID number from your Spartan Link account. So your student ID number, that is a 9-digit number that begins with an 8, and you get that whenever you are admitted, and you can find that on your Spartan Link account. To get into UNC Genie, you need your university ID number and you need your PIN. So that PIN number can be found on a website called getmypin.uncg.edu. So what do you need to do? You need to get your PIN, getmypin.uncg.edu. Of course, if you have any questions, our technology folks here on campus are called 6Tech, and they are able to help you out and get you that information if you need it. So there's two different things. There's your university username and password, and then there is your student ID number and your PIN. Your number and your PIN get you into UNC Genie, and your university username and password get you into everything else. Andre, can you go ahead and head on to the next slide? So, like we were saying, your UNC Genie account, that is where you use your university ID number. It's also called your user ID, and then your PIN. So you will log in to UNC Genie by going to uncg.edu, and up at the top of the page is a little tiny Genie lamp, and you can click on that to get to UNC Genie. On the right side of your screen there, where you see the pick an account, that is your university username. So that is actually the username of another one of our admissions counselors, T.S. Yates. No, it's not T.S. Eliot, it's T.S. Yates, but that is an example of your username. And then you will put in your password. It's more of a passphrase. It's something that's a little bit longer, and you create that, and you have to make sure that you remember it, so make sure it is memorable. And it has to follow all of those password guidelines, where it has to have uppercase, lowercase, number, special characters, left toe, something like that. Alrighty, let's go on to the next thing. The next thing that you need to do is register for SOAR. So we did talk about that a little bit, where you need to register for SOAR. SOAR stands for Spartan Orientation, Advising, and Registration. Transfer students do it a little bit differently, and I'm actually going to have to ask either Andre or Angie to tell me a little bit how SOAR works for transfer students, because there's some caveats where some students do have to go through SOAR, some students don't. So would either of y'all like to explain how that works? Go for it.
We'll take a swing at this one. Yes. So again, for our freshman students, they have everything kind of interconnected with their orientation day. So they're going to learn all about the business processes of how to be a student, and they're going to get their class schedule all at one time. But with our transfers, we know that you are all going to be very different and unique in your needs, in what classes you're going to be needing based on what you've already taken at your previous school, what major you're going to go into, whether or not your program has any sort of prerequisite classes. So you really would benefit more, and do benefit more, from doing these one-on-one appointments as far as your advising. So when you're coming to SOAR, your focus is around the business of being a UNCG student, understanding where your resources are and what things you need to do in order to make the transition into the university. So as Trey mentioned, the majority of you all are going to come to the SOAR event. It's all going to be virtual this year due to the pandemic. And it's going to be different modules you're going to go through throughout the day. So some things are going to be live, some are going to be videos, there's going to be some chat sessions, and your whole day, it's going to be pretty much the entire day. But For our RN to BSN students who have earned an Associate of Applied Science in Nursing already or have a nursing license from outside of North Carolina, your program has already negotiated a separate orientation day that is in August, just before classes begin. So for any other students besides RN to BSN, plan to be at one of the SOAR sessions, regular 9 to 5. And again, breaks are built in. You won't be there in front of the computer the entire day, but that should be the biggest chunk of your day, getting orientation done. For the RN to BSN students, you will go to a separate nursing specific orientation in August. If I am not mistaken, I don't think I am, August 9th is going to be that day, but you should be on the lookout for contact from the nursing program. Specifically, it should be Jennifer Boggs, Boggs, who'll be reaching out to you. She is an amazing resource and advisor over there. So if you've not already been in contact with her, reach out to her, Jennifer Boggs, and she will be able to tell you what's what.
Fantastic. Alrighty, Andre, thank you very much. And if you do have any questions for orientation, you can certainly give that office a call. You can send them an email, or you can even text them. Now, remember, if you do want to text them, you do have to dial that 1 in front of the number. So their number is 1-336-541-6939. Alrighty, Andre, let's head on. If you want to live on campus, we do have plenty of options for you, and we have space available for you. So all you have to do is apply for housing. Now, applying for housing means that you need to have your university username and password already set up. So that is an important thing to make sure that you have already done. We're going in a specific order. Catch on? There you go. So the housing application is online. It is still available now. If you have not applied for housing and you need housing on campus, make sure you do that as soon as possible. You don't want to wait too long. So you can just go to HRL, it stands for Housing and Residence Life. You can go to hrl.uncg.edu and click on the Artemis Housing Portal. So you can see it right there where Andre's mouse is and around that red box. And that is where you can self-assign what the housing office calls it. That is where you pick your room. And if you know someone that you want to live with, you can pick a room with that person. If you don't know someone, that's okay. The housing office will put you into a room with a paired person. And I say a paired person because they do a pretty good job of pairing you up with someone who matches similar interests to you. Alrighty, let's head on to the next thing. So financial aid is a very important factor. So we have to pay for college. How are you going to pay for it? Well, hopefully you have already filled out the FAFSA. If you have not filled out the free application for federal student aid, you need to get that done before the end of this month. Before the end of June 2021, you need to apply for financial aid. So you can go to studentaid.gov and fill out the FAFSA. If you have already done that and you need to accept your financial aid and view what your aid package is, you're going to do that in UNC Genie. So you're going to log into the secure area on UNC Genie. We call it the secure area because you have to put in your ID number and your PIN. And then you're going to click on the financial aid tab up at the top, and then you're going to click on aid by award by aid year. So make sure that you do that. If you have any questions, of course, our financial aid counselors are here to help you out, so you can give them a call and see what is going on. But financial aid, course registrations, any of that information all lives in UNC Genie. So let's head on to the next thing. Immunization records are very important. We want to make sure that everyone here is keeping everyone healthy and safe. I will go ahead and say that the university has not made a decision. They have not said anything on whether or not a COVID vaccine is going to be part of the required panel of vaccinations that you must have to be admitted or to join us here on campus. But the Student Health Office has not made a decision, so it's okay if you have not been vaccinated yet, or if you're not able to be or choose not to. But you do have to fill out and submit the vaccination and immunization records form. So you will go to shs.uncg.edu/immunizations. That is where you can fill out the forms for all of the immunizations that you have had, and that is where you can submit it on the Student Health panel. Of course, questions are always welcome, and you can give our Student Health Office a call, and they will be able to help you out. Another important thing is student health insurance, which I believe should be our next slide. No, it's not, but that's okay. So we can go ahead and head on to the next slide. I think student health insurance is in there. I got these a little out of order, but that's okay. If you're going to be on campus, so taking classes on campus, or if you're going to be commuting to campus, you can get your Spartan ID card. So all you would have to do is upload a photo onto the ID card website, or you can go to the ID card center, so the Spartan Card Center, and you can take your photo there. And you can take your photo and just get your card right that day. So that is an option for you. If you wanted to upload your photo, make sure that you're following the rules. We want a photo that is pretty much just your face. No profile shots, no hats, no other people, no distracting stuff. We just want to see you. You need that ID card, especially if you're going to be living on campus, because that is how you get into your residence hall. That is also how other activities take attendance. That is also how you get into the dining hall and other food places here on campus. So if you're going to be on campus at all, the ID card is a very important part of your campus experience. All right, let's head on to the next thing. The W9S tax form. So this is something that our financial aid and cashier's office need, and so you must fill that out. It can be found on Spartan Central. So Spartan Central is the one-stop shop for everything that you need to get enrolled, and the business of being a student at UNCG can be found on Spartan Central. So you can just go to spartancentral.uncg.edu, click on the little cashier tab up at the very top, and that is where you can find that form. This is something that is required. I will say it again. This is something that is required. So make sure that you have that form, fill it out, and can either email it in or bring it in to the cashier's office. Alrighty, what's our next step? Sending in your final transcript. So this is a sample of a final high school transcript. If you have dual enrollment classes, we need both your high school transcript as well as your community college transcript. If you are transferring in, we need your community college, we need your university transcript, we need all of your educational records. We need everything so that way we can give you as much credit as possible. We want to make sure that you're getting credit for the things that you have done. So our transfer articulation team within the registrar's office is going to make sure that happens. So send in your final transcripts. They can be sent electronically. So most schools do have an electronic file transfer system. So that usually goes through services like Parchment or the National Student Clearinghouse. Possibly they may require an email address or a mailing address to put in, so you can put in our mailing address or our email, and that will get right here to us. It's not instant though, so if you have just hit submit and you give us a call and say, have you received my final transcript? We're not going to have received it yet because it takes a little bit of time, but I guarantee we will get it. Also, if you have any advanced placement or international baccalaureate scores, you can submit those to us for credit. Those are not required, but if you want to get the credit for it, we do need them. So go ahead and head on over to College Board or to the IB website and get those scores sent here to us. And you must submit your final transcripts, or a hold will be placed on your account, and that is going to prevent you from registering for classes for the spring semester. So make sure that you send us your final transcripts, or else you're not going to be able to take classes for the following spring semester. So please, please, please send in those transcripts. Alrighty, Andrea.
Right, can I also add that they may not be able to adjust their schedule as well?
Also,
so not just register for future classes, but adjust their current schedule. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, thank you, Angie. Alrighty, let's head on to the next thing. Hey, there's this health insurance waiver. So if you already have your own health insurance, you can opt out of the university's health insurance plan. That is something that is required, especially if you're going to be here on campus. So if you do not have your own health insurance plan and you want to enroll in the university's plan, that's okay. You pretty much don't need to do anything. The university is going to automatically enroll you in that. But if you have your own insurance plan already, either through yourself or an employer or family member, you can waive the health insurance that the university would give you. So you're going to need to do that at studentbluenc.com ##pound/UNCG. I'm showing my age because I called that a pound and a hashtag. Hashtag millennial. Anyway, so let's head on to the next thing so that way we can wrap it up. And this is the last thing that you need to do, and that is pay your bill. So bills are generated after you sign up for classes or after you are pre-registered for classes. So for our first year students, those students are going to be pre-registered for classes. For transfer students, for second degree students, for adult students, you're going to set up advising and registration with your advisor. So again, make sure to reach out to your advisor. If you need help getting in contact with them, just give us a call, send us a text, and we'll be able to help you out. But the bills are generated after you sign up for classes, and those go out in July with a due date of August. And I say due date because you can either have your financial aid pay for everything, you can have your financial aid pay for some stuff and you have to pay the remaining, or you pay for everything. And for anyone who has a bill where you have to pay something, you can set up a payment plan if you don't want to pay everything all at once. So we have payment plans that break up your payments into either 3, 4, or 5-month installments. There's no interest, there's no credit check, there's no nothing. It's literally just dividing your balance by 3, 4, or 5, and then you make that payment. So that is an option for you if you want to do that. So one important thing to remember is that the bill is sent to the student. I'll say it again, the bill is sent to the student. It is the student's responsibility to either hand that bill over to their family member or whoever is paying the bill, or have an authorized user set up so that way you can have that other person, if somebody else is footing the bill for you, log in to your student account center and pay for you to be here. So make sure that you have that set up if there's going to be somebody else that is paying for you. And of course, if you have any questions, always give us a call. If you have any questions for us tonight, we are here available. So send us your questions. And your texting number that you can send us a question and we can answer them live for you is there on the bottom of your screen. Alrighty, everyone. So let's go back to it and we will talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we need to do. And Angie, I'm going to give this question over to you so that way we can go ahead and get the ball rolling with some of our questions. And this one is a pretty easy one. Can I still save my space for this upcoming fall semester?
I'm going to say absolutely. Is that correct? Am I right? No. Yes, you can absolutely. I'm supposed to be on vacation. You can absolutely still save your space. Ideally, May 1st was that deadline. It's only just so that we can better prepare for our students and know how much of resources we're going to need and to keep track of all of the things on campus that students typically use throughout the year. So it's kind of like RSVPing to a party. You can do that. We just want to make sure we have enough food and enough drinks and all of that good stuff. So the answer is yes, you can still save your space.
What's that line? Was it from Clueless? Here I am going way back in time where if I'm going to stop myself before I get off track. Anyway, I feel like we should have a podcast where it's just called Admissions Tangents. Anywho. Alrighty. Andre, since we're just going to be bouncing around, I'm going to ask this question to you. Can I send in my transcripts electronically?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was said before, most of the schools now have some sort of electronic portal that will let you send your transcripts over. And you really don't even need to do anything besides start typing in University of North Carolina at Greensboro or UNCG or UNC Greensboro, and it will pre-populate all that information and zip, send it right on over to us. There are a few schools out there that are still mailing transcripts and they will ask you for the mailing address. Be sure that it says UNCG admissions, and we have the PO box listed on the website. that you can use to send it to us. The PO box is for the entire university. So dining, financial aid, all the academic departments, everybody's got the same PO box. So you need to have UNCG admissions office at the top in order to make sure that it gets over here with us so that we can process it and give you credit for those classes. The final word I will tell you is that the average cost of a class right now is roughly $900. So for every 3 credit hour class that you don't get credit for, that's basically you taking $900 and just throwing it out your window. Don't let that happen. Send us your final transcript so we can process those credits, put them on that transcript, and just move the needle that much closer to graduation for you.
Fantastic.
I also want to add a note for my military affiliated folks who have attended, who are in service other than the Air Force. If you need to send us your JST, the folks at JST have all of the UNC schools listed as University of North Carolina. So when you go to look for your transcript to send it to us, it is sent electronically, but you will have to look us up by University of North Carolina and then look for us by our address. So it will be listed University of North Carolina, PO Box 26170. And then it will get sent to us electronically. If you do have any questions or you forget about it, just feel free to send me an email. I'll send you the instructions and we'll get it taken care of.
Fantastic. Thank you, Angie, because I was just about to ask you that question. What about our military students? Now, you said except for the Air Force. I have heard of this thing called the Community College of the Air Force. Is that a thing that we need?
Correct. Yes. So we need record of all of the military training. And the purpose is that we do award credit for training. We are working on getting some of those credits. You know, as time progresses, we're trying to do more for our military affiliated folk. But in the meantime, there are credits that you will get. So we do need that for your record. And so Community College of the Air Force, send that to us, even if you think there's nothing you're going to get credit for. JST, Community College of the Air Force, send those in to us.
Fantastic. So, Andre, a lot of students, I'm sure, are going to be wondering, you know, if I attended this school and I withdrew from all of my classes, or if I don't want to transfer my credits, do I still have to have my transcript sent over to UNCG, even if it's not going to do anything?
Short answer is yes. We want to get that transcript. And it's going to prove a couple of different things to us. All the people that I know that are watching this live stream, you probably are very smart and beautiful people. But you may know someone who is not so smart, who went to a school and they went down there and they
had a good time.
How should I say it? Say it again.
They had a good time.
They had a very good time socially, and they enjoyed themselves. Or to be very serious, I mean, something else outside of their control may have happened, and grades didn't go so hot. That does not mean automatically that you can't be considered for admission, but we need that transcript to review it and to assess it. Another important point to know is that there's also a matter of safety. So if a student has gone to a campus and had some sort of disciplinary incident or, criminal charges or something that has happened, we want to be aware of that. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can never attend UNCG, but we need to make sure that whatever circumstances were taken care of with that school. If you had disciplinary responsibilities that need to be taken care of, if you had to pay restitution because of something that may have happened, that all needs to be rectified ahead of time. In many cases, if that is not rectified with the school, they are not going to release that final transcript to us. So this is basically showing that you have a clean, clear bill where you're leaving that university. You don't owe them any money. You don't have any disciplinary issues. You don't have any academic issues. And then when we get that transcript, we're going to review it to be sure that everything is on the up and up. And then, of course, making sure that we're going to give you that final credit for everything that you earn. So for all of you guys, you should all be admitted. But if you're working with somebody or know somebody who's thinking, oh, I can't go back to school because, I did something bad or my grades are not so great, please have them reach out to us because there's always a pathway, sometimes not always straight, but we can work with many a student to help them get here to continue on with their degree.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Alrighty, Angie, I do have got a, yes, for sure. I have a question for you that I would like to know the answer to. I am a high school student and I took dual enrollment classes, and I've already graduated from high school and submitted my final high school transcript. My dual enrollment classes are on my high school transcript. Is that all you need?
That is not all we need. So for those of you that have taken courses as college level courses as a part of your high school experience, we will still need a transcript from that institution directly. A couple of reasons. One, how the information is translated by your high school may be a little bit different. We will actually articulate that credit straight to your record apart from your high school record. And then also for some students, they might have taken credits after they graduated. And we also need documents according to reports we get from the National Student Clearinghouse. And so the Student Clearinghouse, when a student submits an application, they'll say, this student attended these institutions, and it will list out your high school and your college credit attempted and earned otherwise. It will list out all of those things, and we're required to have documentation for each of those institutions. That's strictly for our accreditation purposes and also for awarding proper credit. So the short answer is no, you need to submit a transcript from each of those institutions for us to have for your file.
Fantastic. It is very, very important that we get all of those documents because, again, we want to make sure that you get as much credit as possible. Alrighty, Andre, this might be a question that you can answer. This might be something that we have to refer over to our transfer articulation team. And if you do have any questions for our transfer articulation team, give us a call in the morning. But I took some courses at a community college, but they didn't transfer to UNCG. Why is that? Do we know?
Ooh, that's really, really good. Okay. Can I do show and tell?
Please do.
Okay. Where is it at?
It depends, right?
Well, I got to see what my camera's going to do first. There we go. Yeah. So we have this thing called the North Carolina Community College Transfer Guide. And I'm not going to try to open it up because then my camera will freak out. But the simple version of it is that the community colleges in North Carolina are all in one unified system. So shout out to my people in 252. If you know Halifax County Community College, Halifax Community College, Roanoke Chowan, and then Guilford Tech and CPCC and Isothermal. I think I've got everybody covered east to west. Every school, when they offer a course, English 111 is going to be the same at every campus. Astronomy 111 is going to be the same at every campus. So because they are on this unified system, they have a list of all the courses that they offer. And that's where that transfer guide comes in. We go in and we can review their courses and determine ahead of time every class that we will accept and how that individual class is going to transfer to our campus. So for the examples that I gave, English 111 is always going to transfer to UNCG as English 101, regardless of which school you may have attended. So when you're comparing your coursework to this booklet, it is a very easy match to be able to find your courses alphabetically, and there'll be a matching UNCG course next to it. So for most of the traditional college coursework, English, math, history, the sciences, the social sciences, humanities, we should have matching courses for those. So if you have a C or better in that class, we hopefully will have a matching class to go along with it. Reasons why a course may not transfer, first might be the grade. So if you earned a D or an F, those courses are not going to be equatable. They are not considered to be passed successfully, so we can't equate credit there. The other reason that it may be the course content or the department. So the courses that I mentioned are courses that we offer and we have equivalents for at the college level. The community colleges are offering both courses for traditional transfer, going on to a four-year school, and then also courses that are designed for careers. So you may have somebody who is taking courses towards nursing or medical sonography or real estate or welding or plumbing or any manner of other skill-based careers. So not to negate the work that those students are doing, but we don't have any equivalent courses to offer for those. So if we have equivalent credit, and if you have a C or better, that course should be transferable. And if you have any questions about that, you reach out here to us in the admissions office, and we will be happy to review that with you. And then if we have to, we'll refer you over to our transfer articulation team, and they will fill in the gaps of explaining more specifics. For any of our folks who may have courses coming from a four-year campus, so you're coming from a traditional college or university, 99% of everything that you've done there should be transferable, recognizing the fact that we're going from one four-year campus to another four-year campus. Even if we can't match the course exactly, we can offer elective credit in most cases, usually inside of that department. So if your school offered some super unique history course and we don't have anything that matches it, that's okay. We still recognize it as a history department course, and we will give you elective credit. And then it'll be negotiation between you and the history department to say, well, how can I use this unique course that I took at school A? And then they will help figure out, well, it doesn't quite match anything we have, but maybe we can make a substitution for something else that's here. So another important reason to send all your transcripts, you may think that it's not going to transfer. The departments here in the university may feel otherwise.
Fantastic. One of the most important bits of information in there, maybe not the most important, but a good piece of information, C or higher. You have to have a grade of at least a C or higher in order for your classes to transfer. C minus, not going to cut it. Grade, not. Alrighty, Angie, I know you work with our military affiliated students and also with our military affiliated students office. Is there any good piece of advice this close to the start of the semester that you have for our military students who are about ready to begin?
The best piece of advice I can give is to just make sure you're touching base, especially if you are using benefits. There's a form you have to fill out with the VA to initiate that process. And then once you get registered for classes, that's when we will be able to start certifying students to use the benefits. So I would just say, reach out to them in their office. They have an open Zoom session and the links on their website that there is someone present in that Zoom session during normal business hours, 8 to 5. So when you go in there, there's a little doorbell and someone will come and talk to you face to face. And then just basically make sure that you keep in touch with them if you have any questions, if you need resources on campus. I myself am a good resource. If I don't know the answer or if I don't do the thing, that I most likely know someone who does. I've been on campus for quite some time, so I'm here. My contact information is on the website. You can even make an appointment with me. But yeah, for those military folks, I would just say stay on top of using your benefits and getting certified as soon as you can. So as soon as you're registered for classes, make sure that you touch base with Brad Wren, Eduardo Pinero, and Milvia Sadler.
Fantastic. Yep, and if you need contact information for any of those folks, it is over on our website as well as the Veterans Military Affiliated Students Office website too, so check them out. Andre, I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. We're not getting many questions out there from internet land, so I think we might go ahead and start wrapping this one up, but any advice that you have for a transfer student who is about to start classes in August?
I've probably got two. So the first one is to be sure that you are following your admitted student checklist. And some of you just perked up and said, I have a checklist? Yes, there is. Inside of your Spartan Link account, there's a little button. It's got an eyeball icon next to it, and it says enrollment info. If you click on that, it is going to give you a checklist of everything that needs to happen from the point that you are accepted to the day that you actually arrive here on campus or start taking classes online for our online students. So it will cover things. It basically covers most of the stuff that we talked about today. So, signing up for orientation, picking up your ID card, registering for classes. If you are following each one of those steps, that is going to put you in the best possible position to be successful in your transition into the university and have a smooth start, which is what we want for you. The follow-up that I would offer to that one is at any point that if you're going through that process or just moving through the steps, and something just doesn't click, doesn't make sense, doesn't feel right, please call us. We are here to be a resource. We are the front door of the university, and that this should not be the only time that you are in contact with us. So if you are running into a problem through the enrollment process, first week of school, maybe even the first few weeks after school, We may not be the resource to fix the thing, but we certainly will know the people that can fix the thing. And rather than having you struggle and trying to figure it out by yourself, we can much more easily guide you to the right office, get you to the person that you need to talk to fix the thing so that you can have a smooth transition. What we want for you more than anything else is to have a great experience, which should hopefully have you getting good grades, having a good time, and getting on to graduation. And that's what we know that you want. So we want that for you too.
Fantastic. All right. Very, very good advice. And friends, we are going to go ahead and wrap this one up because we have gone through the entire admitted student checklist. All of these resources are online if you need to get in contact with any of us. Of course, you can call the admissions office. You can text us all day long and we will be able to help you out. And we hope to see you here on campus or out in internet land in class pretty soon. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to have our panel reintroduce themselves. Let's start with Angie and just say who you are, what you do here, and something that you appreciate about a transfer student.
So everybody, once again, my name is Angie Moore. I work with adult, transfer, and military affiliated students. I have been on campus for a long time. And the thing that I appreciate most about, I'd tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. So the thing I appreciate the most about transfer students is the fact that most of you all have experienced a misstep or have experienced life and have the intestinal fortitude to come back and do something, right? And to finish what you started. And you know what you want for the most part, or some of you don't know what you want, but you at least know what your resources are. And I appreciate that about you. I appreciate the fact that you are taking the steps to come back and achieve something that for whatever reason you couldn't do initially. And it's tough. It's tough to do it as an adult. It's tough to do it with other responsibilities. And those are definitely things that I'm aware of. So if you need any help from us, just let us know.
Fantastic. Yep. Angie is a wonderful person to go to for help. And Angie, that's what I appreciate about you. And Andre, tell us who you are, what you do here, and something that you enjoy about working with a transfer student.
Again, my name is Andrea Hill. I'm one of the counselors. And again, transfers, adults, second degree, those are my passions. And I am happy to answer questions that you have. One of the things that I really enjoy in working with transfers is probably the fact that you're so intentional about coming to UNCG. So in the case of many freshmen, and I love them and they do great stuff, and they're choosing, they're thinking about this whole life that's in front of them. Do I stay in state? Do I go out of state? All of these schools to choose from. And typically for my transfers, when I talk to them, it's maybe if they're choosing, it's usually one or two places. And they're choosing them because they enjoy them, because they are looking forward to the educational experience. They're looking forward to being involved and being engaged. So it's just a little bit of a deeper connection that I find sometimes with transfers is like they are so passionate about being here at UNCG and they just can't wait to get here. And that is something that I really enjoy and it energizes me. So please reach out to us if we can help in any way.
I also want to say that with transfer students, you all are each individually different. There's never a student I've worked with that is the same as the one before. And that is definitely, it makes my job interesting for sure.
Well, it certainly is a fun time. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope we have answered your question. If we have not for any reason, please always feel free to reach out to us here in the admissions office at UNC Greensboro. We hope to see you here soon. We know you're going to do great things when classes start up in August, or if you've already started classes over the summer, good for you. You're doing the thing. Well, we shall see y'all later on, and we will talk with you later. Bye.